We're diving deep into ransomware today. I know you've probably heard the term before, but today we're going way beyond just the headlines.
Exactly. And we're going to give you some really solid info that you can actually use to keep yourself safe out there. Because let's face it, ransomware is not standing still.
Yeah, it's always changing. And even if you think you've got everything locked down,
Yeah.
there's always more to learn, right?
Wow.
So let's get back to basics for a sec. What exactly is ransomware and why is everyone freaking out about it?
Well, ransomware, it's a pretty catchy name, but it doesn't really tell the whole story, you know? It's not just about some hacker locking up your files and then wanting a quick buck. There's a lot more to it than that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So tell us what's actually happening when ransomware hits, like behind the scenes.
It all starts with encryption, but not like what you're probably thinking, like a simple password. It's way more complex than that. It scrambles your data using algorithms, think like RSA or AES, and without the key, it's basically useless. It's like imagine shredding a super important document into a million pieces and then throwing those pieces everywhere. That's what your data looks like without the key.
Whoa, okay, that's kind of scary. So it's not just locked, it's like gone, basically. And then there's cryptocurrency, right? That plays a big role too. Why is that?
Yeah, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin especially, they've become like the favorite tool for these guys. And it's not just because it sounds all techy and cool. It gives them a level of anonymity that you just don't get with regular money.
So it's all about hiding, basically.
Exactly. Transactions are recorded on that blockchain, but the people behind them are like masked. And these guys are getting really clever. They're using mixing services and privacy coins like Monero to make it even harder to track the money. It's like trying to follow footprints in a blizzard. You know? It makes it almost impossible for law enforcement to trace the money, let alone get it back.
So we've got this super strong encryption messing up our data, and then they get paid in this untraceable money. It sounds like a dream come true for criminals, really.
It kind of is. And here's the crazy part sometimes. Getting that ransom, that's not even the main goal.
What do you mean? There's more.
It's like this. Some ransomware, it's almost like a Trojan horse. It sneaks into your system, locks up your files, and then asks for money. But that first attack, that might just be the beginning. They could be after something way bigger than just a one-time payment.
Okay, now I'm really interested. What else could they want?
Well, think about it. They could be using that first attack to get deeper into your system, setting things up for even more attacks later on. Maybe they're after your sensitive data, like secret company stuff, or even just a way to get back into your network later and cause chaos. It's more like long-term spying than just a quick robbery.
Wow, so it's not just about getting your files back. It could be the start of a total nightmare. So that makes finding it early even more important, right?
Absolutely. The faster you see the signs, the better your chances of stopping it from spreading and preventing those long-term problems. And it's not always about seeing those locked files. There are usually little hints that show up way before that.
Okay, so what should we be looking for? Besides the obvious stuff, of course.
Yeah, those locked files, that's usually when it's already too late. By the time you see that .locked or .encrypted on your files, the ransomware is already deep in your system. It's like seeing smoke when the house is already on fire. We need to spot the sparks before they start the fire, you know?
Okay, I get it. We need to be more careful, more proactive. So, tell us those early signs. What should we look out for?
Keep an eye on your computer. Is it suddenly running slower than usual? Are you getting weird pop-ups or error messages that you've never seen before? Are your programs acting strange, crashing, or just refusing to open? All those things could be signs that something's up even before it starts locking your files.
So it's like they're scoping the place out before they break in.
Yeah, exactly. It's quietly switching off your alarms, getting ready for the big attack. And you wouldn't believe how many people just ignore these signs. They're like, oh, it's just my computer being slow today, or maybe I need to restart, and then boom, everything's locked up.
Yeah, I've totally done that before. So what's the takeaway here? How can we avoid making that mistake?
Just don't ignore those little hints. If something feels off, it probably is. And here's a good tip. Really pay attention to those file extensions. If you start seeing weird stuff like data encrypted or .reuk added to your files, that's a huge red flag. It means the ransomware is locking your data right now.
That's a great tip, something everyone can do right now, like checking your locks before you leave the house. Just good digital habits. So we've talked about what ransomware is, how to spot it early. Now let's get into the damage it can do. Yeah. And I think it's way more than just losing money, right?
Right. Losing money is bad, especially for businesses, but losing data can be even worse.
Yeah, I think this is where it gets real for people. Think about it. What data on your computer would you absolutely hate to lose? photos, work files, financial stuff. It makes it all feel a lot more serious.
Yeah, for people like you and me, it can be a real nightmare. Imagine losing all those photos you've taken over the years, important documents, or your bank records. It can be devastating, and for businesses, it's even worse.
Yeah, we hear about these huge ransomware attacks on companies and hospitals, but it's easy to forget that small businesses are also at risk. What can happen to them?
For businesses, it can be crippling. It can shut everything down, stop people from working, and lead to big financial losses, not just from the ransom, but also lost income and the cost of getting things back to normal.
It's like a digital earthquake, right? The first shock is bad enough, but then there are the aftershocks. The long-term recovery can be just as challenging. And there's something else that really worries me, data theft.
Oh yeah, data theft is happening more and more with ransomware. A lot of these groups, they don't just lock up your data, they take a copy before they encrypt it.
Wait, so even if you pay the ransom and get your files back, your data could be out there in the wild?
Exactly. It's like getting robbed and then finding out they took photos of your house while they were at it. And they can use that stolen data for all sorts of bad stuff. Blackmail, identity theft, or just selling it to whoever pays the most on the dark web. It just adds another level of risk to these attacks.
This is all pretty scary, but I know we're going to move into how to protect ourselves next. Give our listeners some hope here.
Yeah, for sure. The threat is real and always changing, but you can protect yourself. It's all about knowing what to do and having the right tools.
All right, so let's talk about those steps then. What's the most important thing we can do to protect ourselves from ransomware?
Backups. Definitely backups. They're not just a good idea, they're absolutely essential. Think of them like insurance for your digital life.
Yeah, we hear that all the time. But why are they so important when it comes to ransomware?
Because if you get hit, a recent backup can save you. You can use it to restore your computer to how it was before the attack, basically rewinding time and undoing the damage. It's like having a spare key if someone changes the locks on your house.
That's a great analogy. It makes it super clear why backups are so important. But there are different ways to back up your data, right?
Yep, you've got a few options, and each one has its good and bad points. You can use external hard drives, which are portable, and you can keep them offline, or cloud storage, which is always accessible and syncs automatically. There are different backup strategies, too. Full backups, which copy everything, incremental backups, which only copy what's changed since the last backup, and differential backups, which copy changes since the last full backup.
Okay, so which one's the best?
It depends, really. It depends on what you need, how much you want to spend, and how comfortable you are with technology. But the most important thing, no matter what method you choose, is to do it regularly. Don't just back up once and forget about it. Set a schedule, maybe weekly, daily, or even hourly for your most important files, just to be safe.
Okay, so backups are like our insurance policy against ransomware. What else can we do?
Keeping your software up to date is huge. I know, those update notifications can be annoying, always popping up at the worst time.
Yeah, I've been guilty of ignoring those for sure. But why are they so important?
Because those updates usually include security fixes that plug up the holes that ransomware and other malware use to get in. It's like fixing the holes in your fence before someone can sneak into your yard.
That makes sense. So actually clicking that update button is a pretty big security move.
You got it. And it's not just your computer's operating system. Keep all your software updated, your web browser, antivirus, and any other apps you use regularly. They're all potential ways in for attackers.
Okay, backups, software updates, got it.